Heartwarming, 9 languages revealed by this incredible black girl. Her unexpected skills left a miracle on stage. Amari stood at the corner of her bustling Atlanta neighborhood, heart racing as the sounds of street vendors mingled with the laughter of children playing at the park. Her skin glowed under the vibrant sun, every shade of her existence reflecting resilience and hope. Just 12 years old, and already she could lift spirits with the harmony of her words, speaking 9 languages fluently, a gift she cherished with every part of her soul. But in this world, where her peers often met her uniqueness with confusion, Amari felt the weight of questioning glances and whispered doubts. Her mother, a tireless warrior, worked long hours to provide a life for them both. Her strength was Amari's anchor. With a smile that could light up the darkest day, Mom would hold her close, whispering, "Character and dreams shape your future, baby girl." Those nights wrapped in love had become a sanctuary. Yet, lately, Amari sensed a shift. A cough here, a wince there. Her mother's health was slowly slipping, and the light in her eyes was dimming. Just when the echoes of despair began to strike chords of panic in Amari's heart, news of a prestigious language competition arrived, a chance to change everything. The thought sent her mind racing. Could she escape their struggles? Could she pave a brighter path for them both? But as days blended into weeks, she was torn between rehearsing her speech in French, Spanish, and a myriad of other tongues, and caring for her ailing mother. "Mom, we need to talk about the competition," Amari finally said, her voice shaking like a leaf in the wind. Tears welled in her mother's eyes as she dismissed the notion. "You focus on your dreams, Amari. I'll be all right." The pain of misunderstanding twisted in Amari's chest. "But what if I don't win?" The shadow of doubt clouded her vibrant spirit. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The days crawled closer to the contest, and the tension in their modest apartment felt palpable. Amari poured herself into her performance, losing herself in the rhythms of her words, but every time she looked at her mother, an unbridgeable gap echoed between them, fanning the flames of isolation. The night before the competition, a heartbreak of misunderstanding erupted. Cries ran through their tiny home, fraught with frustration as Amari felt more like a stranger to her own mother. The distance between their hearts seemed insurmountable, and then it was time. Standing under the glaring lights, Amari took a deep breath, her heart beating like a drum in her chest. In that moment, she found her voice a raw, spoken-word performance that rang clear. Each syllable carried the weight of every tear, every struggle, every hope etched in her heart. The audience was captivated, the echoes of her journey intertwining with their own cries for recognition and strength. But amidst the applause, a haunting question lingered: could her triumph bring her mother back to her, or would they remain two ships lost at sea? With love on the line, Amari's journey was far from over, and the next chapter of their lives loomed just beyond reach. The applause echoed in her ears like a distant thunderstorm, a mix of joy and anxiety rolling through her chest. Amari stepped back from the stage, breathless. She felt like she had given all of herself to the crowd, yet, as she glanced into the audience, her eyes searched for just one face, her mother's. Where was she? Did she come? The thought tightened around her heart like a vice. Each moment stretched as Amari waited, hopeful, desperate. The lights dimmed, and the crowd began to disperse, slowly swallowing her mother's potential presence. She felt lost after giving such a powerful performance. The moment she stepped off the stage, the rush began to fade, leaving only the stark reality of uncertainty. "Amari." A voice pierced through her thoughts. It was her friend Jada, bursting with excitement. "You were amazing. That was powerful." But Amari's smile faltered as she searched behind Jada for her mother. It wasn't there. "Thanks, Jada," she replied, but the enthusiasm in her friend's eyes seemed distant now. "Where's your mom?" Jada frowned, noticing the shift in Amari's demeanor. "I don't know, I thought she would be here," Amari mumbled, forcing back the anxiety that threatened to overwhelm her. What if mom wasn't well enough to make it? What if she stayed at home, feeling too sick to enjoy her daughter's triumph? A wave of guilt washed over her. If only she hadn't let herself be consumed by the competition, maybe she could have noticed her mother needed her more. "I'm sure she's just running late," Jada said, trying to reassure her. But Amari could see the worry in her friend's eyes, mirroring her own thoughts. "Maybe," Amari whispered, but the conviction lacked in her voice. After what felt like hours, her phone buzzed in her pocket, pulling her from her spiraling thoughts. It was a message from Mom. "Sorry, baby girl. I wanted to be there, but I couldn't make it." Amari's heart dropped, and tears pricked at the corners of her eyes. "Mom," she breathed, gripping the phone tightly. She looked out into the vast sea of faces. Each one moved with purpose, engaged in their own conversations, oblivious to the storm raging inside of her. In that moment, Amari felt a shift within her, the platitudes of the competition faded, and all that remained was the weight of her reality. Suddenly, a warm hand clasped her shoulder. She turned to see Mr. Thomas, the kind old man from their neighborhood, smiling warmly at her. "Heard you out there, young lady. Absolutely incredible. Your words were like music." "Thank you, Mr. Thomas. I just wish my mom could be been here to hear it." Amari's voice was small, each syllable tinged with disappointment. "I think she heard you in spirit." Mr. Thomas nodded wisely. "And believe me, she's proud of you. No competition can measure that." His words felt like a balm on her bruised heart, yet still she ached for her mother's presence. Feeling an urgent swell of determination, an idea flickered in her mind. If she didn't win the competition, it didn't matter, she'd find a way to reach her mother's heart with her words, regardless. Amari turned to Jada, her resolve reigniting. "I'm going to use this experience. I'll create something special for her, something that will remind her why she's my hero." The fire in her belly sparked anew, the crowd's noise beginning to fade as she envisioned her next steps. But deep down, one question loomed: would she have the strength to carry this dream forward, together with her mother, or were the shadows of despair too deep to navigate? Just as uncertainty washed over her again, the competition results were about to be announced. Would she find her place on the stage? And, more importantly, would she find a way back to her mother? The tension in the air was palpable as Amari stood at the brink of the unknown, her heart pounding with a mix of hope and dread. The announcer's voice boomed across the auditorium, pulling Amari from her thoughts. "And the winner of this year's poetry competition is..." The pause felt like eternity, stretching Amari's heartbeat to a frenzied drumroll of hope and doubt. She could barely breathe as a million scenarios raced through her mind. What if she didn't win? What if she did? Amari Johnson. A cheer erupted from a section of the audience, and for one blissful second, the world felt right again. She stood frozen, the weight of the moment crashing down on her. Jada squealed, her eyes sparkling with joy, and Mr. Thomas clapped loudly, beaming with pride. But amidst the cheers, the one person Amari wanted to see most was still missing. Where was her mother? With shaky legs, Amari walked towards the stage, a strange blend of elation and emptiness swirling inside her. She could feel the warmth of the spotlight, the energy of the room pulsing around her, yet it all felt muted. Each step felt heavier, overshadowed by her longing to share this moment with her mother. Once she reached the center of the stage, all eyes were on her. The applause faded as she took a breath, preparing to speak, to channel her joy into words. But then her gaze fell upon the empty seats, and the thrill slipped away. It was just in that moment, a mix of vulnerability and strength washed over her. "Thank you," she began, her voice trembling. "This means so much to me." The microphone felt too big as she gripped it tightly. "I wish my mom could see this. She is my inspiration, the reason I write. We all have something or someone that makes us brave." Her heart pounded in her chest, and it felt like she had drawn everyone in, wrapping them around her raw emotion. This is not just my win, but hers, too. A sprinkle of murmurs echoed back, a sense of intimacy shared with the crowd. In that moment, she connected with each person, every face a mirror reflecting the heart of her words. She could almost imagine her mother sitting there, wearing her proud smile. As she exited the stage, trophy in hand, Amari felt a renewed sense of purpose ignite within her. The victory wasn't just for her, it was a stepping stone to her larger goal. She wanted to help her mother, not just in small ways, but to bring light back into their lives together. Forget about the competition, we did it. Jada burst out, enveloping Amari in a tight hug. Amari smiled, but her thoughts drifted to how she could turn this moment into something meaningful for her mother. The idea of writing a poem for her, a personal testament of love, began to take shape in her mind. But just as Amari's heart began to swell with inspiration, her phone buzzed once again. It was a message, and the familiar dread crept back in her chest. Can we talk? I need to explain. Her mother's words appeared on the screen, shattering the blissful moment like glass. Anxiety gripped her tightly, and for the first time, doubt clouded her victory. What did her mother need to explain? As Amari looked out into the thrumming crowd, excitement and confusion whirled in her mind. She clutched her trophy tightly, staring at the glowing emojis beneath the message. What if this phone call changed everything? Determined yet scared, she made her way back to her friends, a million questions brewing inside her. Would this draw them closer, or unravel everything she had fought for? With her heart racing toward an uncertain future, Amari stepped off the stage into the fray of emotions that awaited her. What lay ahead could turn her victory into either a gift or a burden. Amari's heart felt like a wild bird in a cage as she rejoined her friends. Jada was still bouncing with joy, her eyes wide and sparkling, while Mr. Thomas approached, his face beaming with pride. Amari, you were incredible up there, he said, his voice rich with admiration. You spoke from your heart, and it moved everyone. Thanks, Mr. Thomas, she replied, forcing a smile as her mind tangled in the knots of anxiety. Jada grabbed her hand, dragging her toward the exit. Let us go celebrate. You deserve it. Ice cream, maybe. I'm buying. The idea of ice cream tugged at Amari, trying to penetrate the fog of her worry. A part of her wanted to bask in the glow of her achievement, to laugh and feel carefree for once. But just then, the glow of her phone pulled her back into reality again. Her mother's message sat there, stark and cold. Can we talk? I need to explain. Suddenly, the joyful noise around her began to fade. The laughter of children, the chatter of parents, the clinking of cups, they all mixed into a muffled sound. She could only think of her mother. She felt a twinge in her chest, a push between excitement and dread. What could her mother possibly need to explain? Amari? Jada's voice cut through her thoughts. You okay? Yeah, Amari said, but her voice trembled, giving her away. She needed to figure this out, to understand the weight behind those words. Maybe you should talk to her, Jada suggested, a hint of concern creasing her brow. You don't have to, but Amari nodded, feeling the familiar pull of worry threatening to derail her moment. The trophy felt heavier in her hand as she glanced at the crowd, a sea of smiling faces. But all she could see was the vacant seat where her mother should be. As they stepped outside, the cool evening air washed over them, offering a brief reprieve. Let us grab your favorite flavor, maybe that will help you feel better. Jada chirped, but Amari's mind was far from creamy ice cream and laughter. Actually, can we just hang out for a bit? I need to think. Jada's smile faltered, but she quickly recovered. Sure. Just text me if you want to meet up later. When Amari watched Jada jog away, a wave of loneliness washed over her. She found a small bench tucked under a tree and sat down, gripping her trophy tighter. The gold glinted under the soft glow of streetlights, a trophy full of dreams but also full of questions. she took a deep breath and pulled her phone back out, staring at the screen. The blinking dots echoed in her head as her heart quickened. Slowly, she typed out her response, her fingers trembling slightly. "What do you need to explain?" She paused, hesitating, a myriad of emotions flooding through her. Was it courage that drove her to hit send, or fear? Seconds dragged into an eternity, and just as the thoughts piled up in her mind, her phone chimed. A reply. "Can we meet where we used to go? I'll be waiting at the cafe. Please." Amari's stomach dropped. The cafe. How many afternoons had they spent there, crafting dreams over steaming lattes and sweet pastries? It was a place filled with memories, both good and tangled. Standing up, she felt a sharp mix of determination and dread. She could feel the weight of her victory. Did it really mean anything if she couldn't share it with her mother? As she started down the street, thoughts raced through her. Would this conversation heal their relationship, or tear it apart? The future felt uncertain, yet there was a spark within her that whispered, "You can do this." Amari quickened her pace, not fully understanding what awaited her at this crossroads. But deep down, she knew one truth: sometimes, to find light, you had to brave the shadows. What if this meeting was the start of everything changing? The cafe appeared just ahead, its familiar glow beckoning to her like a lighthouse through fog. The cracked wooden door swung open almost silently as she approached, the familiar chime of the bell above announcing her arrival. Instinctively, she looked around, half hoping to see her mother seated at their usual corner table, a warm smile on her face and a cup of coffee waiting for her. But the corner was empty. No sign of her mother amid the cozy chaos of patrons, each engaged in their own conversations, laughter bubbling over steaming mugs. Amari's heart sank again. Would this meeting change anything? She caught sight of her mother near the back, a familiar silhouette hunched over a cup, fingers wrapped around the ceramic as if searching for strength. The sight twisted something deep inside Amari. It felt like stepping back into an old song, sweet but haunting, stirring up memories she wished didn't exist. Slowly, she walked toward the table, her heart drumming in her chest. "Mom." Amari called out softly, her voice cracking slightly. The woman looked up, a flicker of surprise darting across her face before being overtaken by a mask of concern. "Amari," her mother said, trying to summon a warm smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "I'm glad you came." The table felt small, too confined for the emotions swirling between them. Amari slid into the chair opposite her mother, the weight of the trophy resting heavily against the table. "I got your text," she said, fighting to keep her voice steady. "I know it's been a while," her mother replied, shyly tracing the rim of her cup. "And I don't know how to say this without sounding like I've made a million excuses," but Amari's breath quickened. Excuses? Was that all this was? She felt a rush of anger mixed with hurt surge through her. "I don't want excuses, Mom. I just want to understand." Her mother looked up, pain flickering across her face. "You deserve better, Amari. I wanted to be there today, to see you shine, but I've been lost." The softness in her mother's tone pulled at Amari's heart, and for the first time, she saw vulnerability etched in her mother's features. "What do you mean?" Amari pressed, the question hanging heavy in the air. "I've been struggling," her mother said, her voice finally cracking. "With everything. I thought I could handle it, but the truth is, I've felt overwhelmed. I didn't know how to reach out, how to ask for help. So I isolated myself." The truth felt like a punch, raw and real. Amari's heart surged with empathy, but she was torn between compassion and the pain of abandonment. "But you didn't even try. You left me alone to figure things out on my own." "I know," her mother said, tears shimmering in her eyes. "And I deeply regret the distance I've put between us. I was scared you'd see me as weak." Silence drifted between them, thick and uncomfortable. Amari felt the urge to stand up, to escape the weight of her emotions. But then she caught a glimpse of the trophy again, the symbol of her hard-earned achievement, representing more than just a victory, but also the bridge between them. "Can we fix this?" she asked softly, vulnerability shining through her anger. "I want to be close to you again." Her mother reached across the table, her fingers trembling. "I want that too," she whispered. With hope flickering in her chest, Amari grabbed her mother's hand. It clicked, like pieces of a puzzle finally coming together. But as they held hands, an unsettling thought nagged at the edges of her mind. What if this moment of reconnection wasn't the end of their struggles, but just the beginning of something larger they both had to face? Rising from the shadows of the past was the only way forward. Would they have the strength to confront what lay ahead? The cafe buzzed with life around them, yet Amari felt as if she and her mother were wrapped in a bubble, isolated from the laughter and chatter. The warmth of her mother's touch brushed against her skin, igniting a new flame of hope, but it was quickly tempered by the overwhelming shadow of their past. "Tell me how I can help," Amari said, her voice steady now, a resolve strengthening within her. It felt like a promise, a commitment to navigate the storm together. Her mother hesitated, her eyes flitting away, as if searching for the right words in the dim lighting of the cafe. "I don't even know where to begin," she admitted reluctantly. "It all feels like a tangled mess." Amari took a deep breath. "Start anywhere. Just don't leave me out of it." At that moment, the sound of a chair scraping against the floor pulled their attention. A young barista, who had been watching them with a mix of curiosity and concern, approached their table with a hesitant smile. "Can I refill your coffee?" she asked, her tone brightening the heavy atmosphere. "Please," Amari replied, grateful for the small distraction. It gave her mother a moment to gather herself. As the barista poured, Amari felt a rush of determination course through her. "You don't have to do this alone, Mom. We can figure it out together. You're not weak for needing help. I need you to trust me." Her mother's eyes shimmered as she took in Amari's words. "I've always been the one to take care of everything. Letting go of that control feels like I'm losing part of myself. But maybe it's time to rebuild, not just for you, but for us," Amari urged, feeling a mix of fear and hope. "What if we made a pact? To check in with each other every week? Just us, no distractions." The suggestion hung in the air, and the fleeting moment of consideration weighed heavily. Finally, her mother nodded, a tear escaping down her cheek. "I'd do like that, Amari. I really would." A small victory ignited a warmth in Amari's chest. She smiled, a genuine, soft smile that felt oddly foreign yet comforting. "We can take it one step at a time. Even on the hard days." Just then, the door swung open, letting in a gust of cool air and a rush of laughter. A group of teenagers burst in, their youthful energy radiating the cafe with laughter and life. The sound contrasted sharply with the gravity of Amari and her mother's conversation, a reminder of what they needed to reclaim. "Look at them," Amari said, motioning subtly to the teens. "They're enjoying life, being imperfect. Maybe we can learn from them. Balance our heaviness with lightness." Her mother chuckled softly, the weight on her shoulders pushing up for a moment. "Sounds easier said than done, doesn't it?" Amari shrugged, a shy smile creeping back. "Well, what if we start small? Like, let us do something together next week. Something fun." The idea sparked a light in her mother's gaze. "How about we go hiking? You used to love that." "Deal!" Amari exclaimed, suddenly giddy at the thought. She couldn't remember the last time they shared a laugh, let alone a hike. But a shadow flickered across her mother's face, clouding the bright moment. "I can be a lot sometimes, Amari. What if I can't handle it? Then we'll handle it together." The sincerity in Amari's voice was palpable. They were leaning into this, step by tentative step, right into the unknown. As their laughter began to bubble up like the warmth of the coffee mugs before them, Amari suddenly felt a twinge of anxiety. Would their little pact withstand the realities of life? Could the bond they were trying to rebuild survive inevitable setbacks, and just as these thoughts crashed against her composure, she realized how fragile their moment still was. They were at the start of something, a fragile hope in a churning sea. Would they be strong enough to hold on to it when the tides changed again? The following week, an unexpected warmth filled the air as Amari and her mother prepared for their hike. The morning sun climbed steadily, bathing everything in a golden hue. Amari could hardly contain her excitement, channeling her energy into lacing her hiking boots with determination. She watched her mother fumble a bit, grabbing the wrong jacket, then struggling to find her phone. "Mom, do you need help?" Amari laughed lightly, sensing a familiar nervous energy in her mother. "I think I'm just a little overwhelmed," her mother admitted, finally settling on a comfortable outfit. "But thank you for being patient with me." "Always," Amari replied, her smile reflecting a mix of cheerfulness and the weight of anticipation. On the road to the trailhead, Amari turned up the music, blasting from the car's speakers, an upbeat song resonating with the promise of a new beginning. Her mother began to nod to the rhythm. It was a small shift, a glimpse of the lightness they both hoped to capture amid their challenges. With every mile, Amari felt a growing knot of hope in her stomach. Just like the kids in the cafe, she thought. This can be fun. But there was also nagging doubt brushing against her enthusiasm like a shadow waiting to emerge. When they arrived at the trail, the scent of pine enveloped them. The crunch of gravel beneath their feet echoed their heartbeats, a reminder that they were alive, on an adventure. As they navigated the path, Amari stole glances at her mother, keenly aware of her reactions. At first, her mother was tentative, stopping frequently to catch her breath and marvel at the towering trees. "Look at how beautiful everything is," she said, sincerity brightening her face. Amari smiled, wanting to bottle that moment forever. "It's amazing. Nature has a way of reminding us how small we are in the grand scheme, but also how connected we can feel." As they continued on, Amari noticed the tension in her mother's shoulders begin to ease. Stepping off the main trail, they ventured toward a secluded overlook with sweeping views of the valley below. They finally dropped to a grassy patch, panting from the physical exertion but giggling like schoolgirls. "See, I told you this was going to be fun." Amari beamed, leaning back against the warm earth, the wind brushing through her hair. Her mother laughed too, but it quickly turned into a sigh. I worry, Amari. What if moments like this are fleeting?" In that instant, the weight of Amari's heart sank. "They can be, but we have to choose to make more of them, Mom. One moment at a time. Just like how we're doing now." She squeezed her mother's hand, feeling the warmth of connection. Her mother nodded, her eyes lingering on the horizon. "You're right. It's just so hard to trust that tomorrow will be as bright. There's no guarantee, but that's the beauty of it, isn't it?" Amari leaned in closer. "We can create those bright tomorrows together." For a moment, her mother's gaze softened, glistening with unshed tears. They sat silently, absorbing the tranquility around them. The breeze swayed the tall grass, filling the space between them with a gentle rhythm. But even in that moment of serenity, doubt lingered in Amari's mind like a distant thundercloud. Would they really be able to keep building these moments? Could they survive the storms looming on the horizon? As Amari's thoughts spiraled, a sharp bark nearby startled them both. They turned to see a dog bounding through the trees, its owner chasing behind. Laughter erupted from the small group nearby, a reminder of joy enveloping them. "Want to join them?" her mother asked, an impish smile tugging at her lips. Amari's heart lightened. "Why not? Let us embrace this moment." They scrambled to their feet, ready to leap into the unexpected. As they approached the laughter and excitement, Amari couldn't ignore the question building in her heart. Was this the turning point they were both yearning for, or just the calm before the storm? As Amari and her mother drew closer to the laughter, a wave of excitement surged through them. The playful yelps of the dog echoed like an invitation, promising spontaneous joy. Amari exchanged glances with her mother, the shared smile a glimmer of hope that maybe today could break the chain of uncertainty that had been binding them. they reached a small group picnicking on a sun-drenched patch of grass, a colorful spread of snacks laid out before them. The children were sprawled out, giggling as they tossed a frisbee back and forth. Amari couldn't help but feel her heart swell. It was as if they had stumbled upon a little slice of happiness. The carefree energy was contagious. "Hey! Want to join in?" One of the girls, a girl with curly hair and freckles, called out. Her enthusiasm was infectious, and without waiting for an invitation, she ran over, frisbee in hand. "Sure." Amari responded, a grin breaking across her face. She handed her mother a water bottle and happily joined the group, pulling her own energy from the laughter and joy surrounding her. "Okay, let us see what you've got," the girl said, tossing the frisbee. Amari leaped and caught it on her first try, eliciting cheers from the children. A laugh burst from her mother as she watched Amari flourish. "Mom, come play," Amari called, the joyous atmosphere inviting her mother to join. Her mother hesitated at first, but underneath her fear, Amari noticed a flicker of adventurous spirit. "Come on. It'll be fun," Amari urged, knowing this was a chance to reclaim a moment together. Taking a deep breath, her mother stepped forward. "Okay, just a little throw." As they played, her mother clumsily tossed the frisbee, laughter spilling from her lips. It felt like a beautiful reset, like they were shedding layers of worry with each throw. When a jumped-up catch knocked the frisbee out of a kid's hand and sent it sailing down a hill, they all ran after it, bounding with joy. At the bottom of the hill, Amari found herself standing by a stream. Its waters glimmered under the sun, reflecting tiny sparkles that danced like the laughter in her heart. They all crouched to dip their fingers in, marveling at the coolness against their skin. "Look!" a boy exclaimed, pointing downstream where the water cascaded over some rocks, spilling into a small pool. "Let us go explore." A rush of thrill surged through the group, and Amari felt her mother's hand clasp hers tightly as they ventured forward. It was exhilarating. The laughter swelled and echoed through the trees like music, each giggle and note forging a new harmony between them. But as the laughter soared, a nagging thought tugged at Amari's mind. Would this moment last? Would they revert back to the silent shadows when they returned home? She quickly placed the thought aside, unwilling to let anything spoil the joy bubbling around them. The smaller kids started splashing, and before Amari realized it, she found herself pulled into their play, giggles erupting as water sprayed onto her and her mother. They looked at each other, and Amari's mom let out an uninhibited laugh. It was the sound of somebody shedding burdens, the weight of doubt slipping away. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, marking the end of their impromptu adventure, a feeling of warmth enveloped Amari. Was this the kind of moment she had wanted? That fleeting joy wrapped in uncertainty. As they gathered their things to leave, poised to walk back up the trail, Amari turned to her mother. "This was amazing, right?" Her mother met her gaze, the spark of joy still glowing in her eyes. It truly was, but just then, a sudden rustling in the bushes silenced them. Both Amari and her mother froze, hearts pounding as they exchanged uneasy glances. What was hiding there in the underbrush, just beyond the fringes of their carefree moment? The rustling grew louder, snapping Amari and her mother back into reality. Their eyes widened, hearts racing. A moment ago, they had been swimming in joy, but now an unfamiliar tension gripped the air. "Maybe it's just a rabbit," Amari whispered, trying to sound hopeful, though uncertainty shadowed her voice. Her mother opened her mouth but then hesitated, the joyful spark flickering in her gaze. "Let us just take a step back," she said quietly, her grip on Amari's hand tightening. The bushes shook again, and Amari felt her breath quicken. Something was there. The laughter of the day seemed to fade into the background, replaced by the whispers of her imagination. What if it was something her mother had been afraid of, a reminder of their struggles? A reminder of what lurked in the shadows? Suddenly, a small head poked out from the foliage. A shaggy puppy tumbled into view, its bright eyes gleaming with innocent mischief. "Wow!" Amari exclaimed, laughing as the puppy leaped around, wagging its tail with wild enthusiasm. "Look at that cutie." Her mother chuckled, the tension easing out of her shoulders. "Oh my goodness, I thought it was something much bigger." The puppy pranced toward them, its floppy ears bouncing as it scampered through the grass. Amari knelt down, and the little dog rushed into her arms, licking her face with excited affection. Amari's laughter spilled out, filling the space around them, and her mother couldn't help but join in, the heaviness that had loomed over them lifting moment by moment. "Where did you come from, little guy?" Amari cooed, cradling the puppy in her arms. It squirmed and playfully nipped at her fingers. Just then, a voice called from the bushes. "Coco. There you are." A boy emerged, a little older than Amari, wearing a baseball cap and a huge grin. "Sorry about that. He loves to run off." "Coco. What a cute name," Amari said, gently setting the puppy down so it could roam around. "Yeah." The boy stepped closer, radiating warmth. "He can be a handful. Are you guys okay? I didn't mean to scare you." His concerned tone sparked something in Amari, a connection. "We're fine. He just surprised us." Her mother smiled, visibly relaxed now. "I think he has given us a little adventure." "I think he just wanted some friends," the boy said, kneeling down to pet Coco as he darted back and forth. "We're having a picnic right over there. You can join us if you want." Amari felt a surge of excitement. "Really? That would be awesome." Her mom exchanged glances with Amari, the hesitation replaced by curiosity. The warmth of their earlier joy was rekindling, bursting forth like the sun dipping low in the sky, casting long shadows but illuminating hope. "Why not? It sounds fun," her mother said, a sparkle igniting in her eyes. The boy led them back through the trees to the picnic area. Laughter bubbled up once more as more children gathered around Coco, each face lighting up at the sight of the playful puppy. The air filled with joy, and it felt like both Amari and her mother were stepping back into the vibrant world they'd almost forgotten, but as they settled down, surrounded by new friends and laughter, Amari's heart held a flicker of uncertainty. Would this newfound happiness last, or was it another fleeting moment? She stole a glance at her mother, who was deep in conversation, the light in her eyes vivid and radiant. Amari wanted to hold on to this feeling, to keep it for as long as she could. As Coco flopped onto her lap, tail thumping fervently, she took a deep breath, soaking in every bit of this precious moment, yet, in the distance, she could see dark clouds rolling in, a sharp contrast to the sun-kissed picnic scene. She bit her lip, recalling the turbulent storms that often followed sunny days. What would this afternoon ultimately mean for them? Did warmth bring storms too? The boy caught her gaze, smiling brightly, but a shadow loomed in the back of her mind, tugging at her thoughts. The whispers of doubt wrapped around her heart. Would she dare to hope? As laughter rang around her, a larger truth began to echo in her heart. Sometimes joy and fear walk hand in hand, but she brushed those worries aside, determined to savor every drop of sun while it lasted. The warmth of the sun sprinkled down as Amari and her mother shared stories and laughter over the picnic spread. Kids chanted and tossed Coco the little puppy among them as it darted through the cheerful crowd, oblivious to the barriers life often created. For the first time in a long while, Amari felt a lightness in her heart, a hope that perhaps everything might just be okay. "Remember that time we took a picnic by the river?" Amari's mother asked, a smile tugging at her lips. "You fell into the water trying to catch that stupid duck." Amari laughed, picturing the moment. "Yeah. I must be looked like a total fool," she exclaimed, relishing in the shared memory. "It was one of the best days we had." Her mother replied, eyes sparkling. In that instant, the nagging doubts that had plagued Amari began to soften. They were building something beautiful from the rubble of their past, the echoes of laughter tethering them closer together. Their connection deepened as they watched the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and pink. The colossal clouds shifted and swirled, once again a reminder that storms would come. But Amari felt ready to brave them. "Can you believe how far we've come?" her mother asked, her voice laced with awe. After a heartbeat, she added, I've been working on being better not just for you, but for myself too. A rush of warmth enveloped Amari. This was the promise of new beginnings, a pathway forged through trust and vulnerability. They had sat at the edges of uncertainty before, but now the horizon felt different. I'm proud of you, Mom, Amari said earnestly, her voice full of love. We can make it work. Together. Their hands instinctively intertwined, feeling the comforting weight of their bond grow. Just like that, moments filled with laughter and sunny afternoons inched closer to what could be a bright future, a future where togetherness and love would be the backbone of their journey. Suddenly, a nearby unfortunate commotion broke the sweetness. One of the kids tumbled, crying out as they skidded across the grass. Amari's heart seized at the sight, her instincts kicked in, and she felt her mother's grip tighten around her own, a protective gesture. They both rushed to help, a united front against life's little tribulations. As they approached, Amari knelt beside the tiny child, gently squeezing their shoulder. You okay? She asked softly, maintaining eye contact, hoping to ease their frantic breaths. The kid nodded, sniffling, before breaking into a smile at the sight of Coco bouncing in excitement. Laughter bubbled up once more as they pulled the child into a group hug. Amari glanced at her mother, and they exchanged a knowing look. A moment shared, a memory being forged that could fill the cracks of doubt. As evening settled in and the stars began to twinkle above, Amari felt an overwhelming sense of release. Their laughter mingled with the calls of children, weaving threads of joy into stories yet to be told. Let us keep this up, Mom, Amari suggested, her voice steady and filled with determination. Let us have more days like this. I believe in us. Her mother nodded, a soft smile illuminating her face. I want that too, Amari. No more holding back. With hearts wide open, they journeyed home hand in hand, each step a promise to protect, uplift, and grow together. Where once shadows loomed, now hope flickered brightly, shining as a beacon to guide them forward. Amari's heart surged with joy. She glanced up at the stars, knowing they were not just watching over them, but that their struggles would ultimately shape their futures in ways they couldn't yet imagine. As they took those first steps into this new chapter, Amari felt light, unencumbered, ready to embrace whatever would come next, and just like that, the threads of love stitched their story anew, threading resilience, trust, and shared dreams into a tapestry that sang with the beautiful essence of family. Their family. Now, as the adventure unfolds, you don't want to miss anything else. You need to subscribe now to our channel. This is the moment to show your support for more inspiring stories like Amari's. Leave a like right now. Your thumbs up feeds the algorithm and helps us reach more hearts. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. Let's connect over these moments together, and don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Every act of kindness counts.